If I asked you to imitate a New York City accent, what would you say? You might ask me where you can find some coffee, or tell me to forget about it. What you might not realize is that one of the most distinctive features of New York City English is where New Yorkers' tongues are when they pronounce their vowels. Historically, American English has three back vowels: O is in goat, oo is in goose, and aw is in caught. However, in a trend that began in the South during the Civil War, Americans started pronouncing these vowels with their tongues more forward in their mouths, while most other dialect regions of the US started doing something similar about 50 years ago, starting in California. If you've ever heard a stereotypical Valley girl say that she's totally cool, that's an extreme example of what linguists call back vowel fronting, or BVF. What makes New York speech unique is that they don't front their vowels. That is, until very recently, when data collected for the corpus of New York City English found that some young, lifelong New Yorkers are fronting their back vowels. But this begs the question: why are some young New Yorkers speaking with BVF and others retaining the back vowels of their parents' generation? It turns out that, in an appropriately New York fashion, it's all about attitude. Using transcripts collected as part of the corpus of New York City English, I compared 10 young New Yorkers who front their back vowels with 10 who don't. All participants answered questions about their attitudes towards New York accents and New Yorkers more generally. What are New Yorkers like? Who sounds like a New Yorker? Do you sound like a New Yorker? I then scored participants from 1 to 5 in two categories. 1, how closely an individual identifies with the New York accent, and 2, how positively they evaluate New York and New Yorkers. I found that not only are New Yorkers pretty good at evaluating whether or not they sound like New Yorkers, but that the degree to which they do or don't front their vowels correlates with their orientation toward or away from the city. In other words, young New Yorkers who keep their back vowels back are more likely to express their local identities in other ways, including intimate knowledge of neighborhoods, using New York City specific slang, or their admiration of New York celebrities, such as Biggie Smalls or Lil Kim. By comparison, fronters more often focus on the life outside of New York, with some admitting to intentionally mimicking the way non New Yorkers talk. But why does this matter? Accents don't just happen to us. We aren't just the passive products of our environments. Our relationship with and attitude toward where we live shapes us, including the way we talk. Understanding why characteristic features of New York City speech have remained in use by young people, even as American speech elsewhere homogenizes, reveals something special about not just New York City accents, but New Yorkers themselves. Unlike in other major cities across the Northeast, generations of New Yorkers maintain a local pride that's not just on the tip of their tongues, it's all the way back. Thank you.